Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku prayer, please stand. Toko Mahara ni kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no migoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no migoto. Tsurushi no gimuka no tachi hanano. Odo no amagi harani misogi harai tamo. Toki ni narimaseru harai dono o kami tachi moro moro no maga goto tsumi kegare o harai tamae kiyome tamai toma o sugoto no yoshi o amatsu kami unitsu kami ya o yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni Ame no fuchi koma no mimi furi tatete Hikoshin neseto Ashiko mikashiko mimu maosu Miroku o mikami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Miroku o mikami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie miyoya nushi no kami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kon nagara tamachi haemase. Kon nagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long gate of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei. May God and Meishu-sama bless you. Johrei is now concluded. Now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. I have been blessed, lost for a long time. I wandered in search of truth. I am happy now, awakened to the radiant light of God. Happiness was nothing more than a dream. I can see it clearly now, right in front of my own eyes. I can only cry with joy. Before I even realized it, my life changed from darkness to bright once I had been awakened by God's radiant light. Human sickness, conflict, and poverty are all caused by our deviation from truth. God intended that we should live under ideal conditions, and these will be established when humanity attunes itself to the laws of nature. The resulting society will be one of beauty and virtue, and all will live in a state of ultimate happiness. This is the true picture of what we call a paradise on earth. The ultimate goal of humanity is the establishment of paradise on earth, and the realization of truth is the sole path to this goal. This is the essential mission of our work, to show the way to truth in order for each person to fulfill his or her divine purpose. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all very much for participating and joining us for this evening service where we had the opportunity to pray for our ancestors, for our loved ones, for all those who are connected, and especially we prayed for so many people that are going through so many purifications, so many sufferings at this time. So we pray for all of them. For those who are going through with COVID, for those who are going through with some other types of accidents. We pray for all of you. And today's teaching talks about I have been blessed. As I know, many of you have been blessed. I have been blessed. I received many. I believe that the most important blessing I received was to meet Meishu-sama, to join in Meishu-sama's cause, to be part of this Johrei movement. It's a great blessing. And I'm sure that you also have been blessed, received many blessings. I've been doing Meishu-sama's teaching study every Wednesdays and Fridays. Today, I'd like to study a little bit for another 5 minutes with you about these teachings. I have been blessed. There is a teaching of Meishu-sama that says, please do not be too easygoing. And he says, leaving everything in God's hands is not to be understood as meaning that we may let things go without doing our part, taking for granted that God will do everything for us. Rather, it means not depending only upon our human intellect and conviction, but seeking to be guided by God's wisdom in everything we do. So, it is essential to have an open, flexible mind and to keep a balanced outlook. Whether we employ the Daijo or flexible way or the Sojo more rigid approach, we must not be dogmatic. Rather, using both, we must always come back to the central point, which is the izunome, the balance. That's when we begin to be blessed, when we use common sense. It's when we begin to just God
And Meishu-sama says, well, when we pray sincerely with all our heart and soul, when we place our lives in God's hands and do our best to serve Him and to serve our fellow human beings, we will radiate the qualities that lead others to the pathway of light. And then, when talking about Johrei, when giving Johrei, for example, it is important to avoid undue eagerness, impatience, tension, and haste, so that you can become God's co-worker. Because when we give Johrei, this is a work that we do with it's a human and God, so we are working together with God in Meishu-sama. So it is not spiritually correct to offer help in illness or misfortune with the thoughts that, well, it will serve to advertise our group. No. In a business undertaking, this might work, but hidden motives are counter to a God-directed plan. So our work does not expand in this manner or through those with influence or power. Rather, word of it often spreads unexpectedly through very modest people. So God's ways are very different, and often they are quite contrary to human concepts. So the plans of mortal beings must be obedient to God's divine plan. When someone comes to receive, even though he or she may appear to be insignificant, we must think of that person as being God sent. Should well-known or influential people come for Johrei? So let us not think they must be helped at any cost because they can help us. No. We must serve the life of bias. All those modest individuals often prove to be spiritually advanced souls. This is Meishu-sama saying. Modest individuals often prove to be spiritually advanced souls. So if a person receives Johrei, decides to stop, for example, I don't want to more receive Johrei, we must not interfere because it may be God's plan for that time being. Now, dogmatic opinions and refusal to listen to what others may have to say does not reflect true serenity of mind. So those with higher understanding, they can turn to the light, they can turn to the right as easily as to the left as the need arises. They are the ones prepared to carry this mission forward. That means they are the ones prepared to be blessed. So to be blessed by God, that means to be someone that can be used by God. And the best way to do this is to do the best we can, to not just rely on God, but do our part and always pray so that God can guide us in the best way we can. Be guided by God. And Meishu-sama. I'd like to thank you all very much for today's study and have a very good evening. Thank you very much. And this brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a good evening.